How's it going? I'm excited to share something that I've been studying with you today, and that is this. Do you have a rule of life? You may be thinking, I've never heard that term, Braun. I hadn't either. It's an ancient term, a rule of life. And the best analogy that I read about it was this. It is a trellis designed for a vine to grow on. So, in your own leadership, life, family, what's the trellis that you have that guides the growth that you desire? Now, some of you may be thinking, no, I've never heard of it and I don't have one. Well, one step farther is the unfortunate news is you do have one, whether you were conscious of it or not. It was created by default. And that it is set up, that system, that trellis is set up to give you exactly the results that you're getting. Now, maybe those are perfect for you. For me, they're not. So I'm doing a reset right now. I just got out of a 100-hour fast to reset physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and really pray into the rule of life we want moving forward as a family and that I want moving forward in my growth and how I continue to serve you. And some major commitments that I'm praying through in that too. So this rule of life really is standing out to me. And I hope that you can take this idea of this rule of life and apply it to your life. A couple of the quotes in there as I was studying this in this book called Practicing the Way. And again, this applies completely to my 15 Invaluable Laws of Personal Growth by John Maxwell. If you haven't read that book or you haven't gone through a mastermind group with me, I highly recommend it because we cannot assume that we're going to automatically grow. There has to be a system. The law of design goes right back to this. The quote in here is the rule of life is either create a rule or be ruled. So a rule of life might be I'm going to put my phone away for a couple of hours in the evening before I go to bed. A rule of life might be I'm going to spend a certain amount of time reading in the morning before I get started. A rule of life, I might uh, do reflection every day. Did I add value? Who do I want to add value to today? And who did I add value to? And the other part of this rule of life is either you apply the constraints to your life or the constraints will be applied to you. So what happens by default is some of our rules might become scrolling. I'm going to doom scroll for a few hours right before I go to bed. I'm laying in bed. I might turn on the TV. I might uh, spend time calling somebody every day. Whatever it is you are doing, you have systems that you're executing daily by default or by design. And this rule of life is to help us grow. Now, this particular one happens to be in my spiritual growth, the book that I'm working through on this one. So it's like, does it help me grow in my relationship with Christ? And what are my rules for that? However, this applies to our personal growth, our leadership growth, even our business growth. Anytime I go in to help a business, we're looking at the rules, if you will, of the business. How is it designed? What are the systems? For me, outdated systems that needed upgraded. They served me for a long time, but it's time for an upgrade. For you, have you intentionally designed some systems and are they outdated? And do they need to be updated? And what you have to have, the clarity you have to design your rule of life is a vision for where you want to go. So we got to have the vision, define reality, and then set up the rules to help us get there. I hope you take this challenge and set the rules up for your life so that you can lead whole and live fulfilled.